Boy, oh boy, do I have a song for you today. This was another time where I was like, how have I not made a video about this artist? I'm talking about Clarence Clarity. There's really nothing like it. And that's not something I'm saying just as like there's just nothing like it, it's so unique. Like, there's really nothing like this. I have never heard anything that is even remotely in the same arena as this, especially this particular song that I'm gonna show you. It's like genreless. I don't know what I would call it. Yeah, it's fantastic. Let's listen to it, okay? All right. The rhythm there, it's kind of hard to follow. Like, if there are any drummers watching this, try and play drums along to this song. It has a groove to it, right? Like, it'll get your head moving, but like everything is offbeat. There's nothing that's straight or regular about how this groove is being played here. Also, what are any of the instruments? I don't recognize, I mean, it's drums. I can hear like, okay, here's the thing that's playing about when a snare would play on a typical drum groove, and it sounds sort of snare-ish. That's not a snare, and I don't recognize it as like an electronic snare either. It's like something completely different. And the kicks are more like just a droning bass, but it's like almost hard to hear what the note is. I think it's just droning on the A, right? This isn't a song that is designed to, have lots of interesting chord progressions and things like that. That's kind of not the point. The interesting thing about this song, the most interesting thing, is absolutely mind-blowing production and the instruments that are used. It's just so ridiculous. But yeah, already here we are. We're like 15 seconds in. Rhythmically, confusing, yet it still has a groove. Production-wise, I don't recognize a single instrument, but everything sounds like music, sorta. Okay, there's a guy singing words. I don't know what any of the words are, but it sounds like English to me. I just can't understand it. There's a melody there, but he's not really like singing notes, Me saying it right now, it sounds like, what the hell am I talking about? That makes no sense. But like, if I was gonna try and play this melody on the piano, I don't know what I would play. And I've listened to this song a bunch of times. Like, I know how this goes. I know how it sounds. I can't really pick out the notes. He's scooping around a lot. He's very loose and free with how he's singing it. And then all these sounds, these little textures going around here and there, none of it is anything I recognize. I have no idea what any of these sounds are. But again, I can hear a song in here, right? It's sort of a call and response to this growling bass and then this like screeching synthy sounding thing. Really what makes it musical is the noisiness of it all. That's what's pushing the song forward, not the vocal melody, not the bass line or anything that has to do with notes, or even really anything that has to do with rhythm. The thing that is pushing this song forward primarily, kind of distinguishing the two sections of the song that we've listened to, they're different because of the different noises that are present in the mix. And I feel like I have to call them noises because calling them parts or instruments doesn't really seem right to me. It doesn't seem like the most accurate way to describe it. It's all noise, but it's all connecting in a certain way to make it sound musical. It's mainly just the back and forth between that growling bass sounding thing and that screechy synth that sounds like it's kind of screaming or something. You could almost think of it, like you have some kind of, I think that's something you might hear in like kind of a crappy classical song or something, Right? That's the same idea. And that's just something that this is doing that helps it feel recognizable as music. So we are getting a little bit more of a musical thing going on here. There's things that sound like notes, almost something that reminded me of a harp a little bit. Even the parts themselves, they're so distorted and weird. The notes are hard to hear. I can tell that they're there, but I still can't quite recognize what the notes are, and you can feel it. You can feel that it's become a little bit more musical in this part. But yeah, what is the melody? I couldn't tell you. We have notes now. We have a more clear chord progression. I think it's just that. And if I play the vocal melody here, it's really, really simple. This simple of a melody sounds like just so beautiful and so harmonically pleasing and nice, because before we had all this freaking noise and craziness. But what's gonna happen is he combines it with the noise from before, and we get a nice, big, intense chorus. So let's get to that, because this is probably the best part of the song. Alright, but first he's gotta, do some other crazy, unrecognizable things. Oh my god, that thing, it's so big sounding. The ability to have that full of a sound covering all of the EQ spectrum. You have a ton of bass, a ton of lower mid stuff, a ton of mid, a ton of higher mid, and a ton of high end. Just everything is just this wall of sound. He's able to make this big of a sound, yet it sounds clear, Nothing is like getting in the way of each other. I think something that helps with that is the fact that there aren't really any instruments that we recognize, right? So I'm not thinking like, oh man, I wish I could hear the guitar more, because there's no guitar, there's no piano. Even the drums are like really difficult to discern. A friend of mine had a huge subwoofer in his car, just massive thing. We listened to this song and you can hear the bass. It's doing this like, this octave thing. So like, that sounds kind of nice. Just playing it like that, I'm just sort of goofing around here. Even just that, it doesn't really sound like any chorus that I can think of. The song that's underneath all the craziness is still a really interesting and unique song. That's just, that blows my mind that he made that happen. Think about like, how did he write this song? That's something that I think about. Where do you start, When I write a song, I either start on the piano, I come up with, some kind of chord progression or something, and I make a song. Or I'll start on the guitar, same thing, come up with a chord progression, make a song out of it. Usually what I do is I just start in Logic and I, make a part that I think sounds cool. I keep adding parts and I just, loop a bunch of things, and then I come up with a vocal melody on top of that, and then blah, 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 and then I have a song. I can't think of any process that makes sense to make a song like this, If he did it like part by part in a DAW, like Logic or Pro Tools or whatever, what part would he have started with? And if he did it like writing on a guitar or on a piano or something, how did he write the verses? What was the idea there? And then on top of that, the production and figuring out all of these sounds, it just sounds like something totally foreign, totally alien and brand new. It's like seeing a color that's not on the color wheel, I think that's all I have to say about this. I'm about halfway through the song. Pretty much the rest is a bridge that's really, really noisy and just like, whoa, like the whole idea of having a melody is thrown out the window and it's just pure noise. And then he brings it back to the melody, does another chorus, and it's really, really nice, really satisfying. I 100% recommend this song. I don't care what your taste in music is. I think this is kind of one of those things that anybody who likes music should at least check out. I also make music of my own if you want to check that out. It is wildly different from this stuff, as is any music. Like this video if you want to do that. Subscribe if you want to do that. I will see you when I see you.